So hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I was sitting around here in the shop tonight, not really doing much, but I was messing around with this new cool project gun I've had sitting around for a while now, and I thought, you know, maybe I should make a video about this gun and show you all what I'm fixing to do. And then I thought, you know, I could show them some other guns I got. It's kind of in the same vein, you know what I'm saying? I think you're gonna like it because it's got basically a couple of magic words associated with this vein right here. One of those words is 44 and another one of those words is Ruger. So come on in here and let's have a look at these bad boys. Alright everybody, so this is the newest gun, and this is the project gun I was telling you guys about. It's got a couple problems, but it's a very special gun, and I'll show you that here in a sec. The rest of these I'm going to show you no particular order. I don't really remember what order I got them in, but I'll just start and go from left to right. So this one here is a Ruger Old Army. And to tell you the truth, out of all these single actions, this one's my favorite. And these things are actually getting kind of expensive now. They've been getting expensive since well before the pandemic too. But this thing has just a beautiful, just a hair trigger on it, man. It doesn't take hardly doodly squat to set this sucker off. I mean, you can pinky do it. And it's very accurate. I've cast my own round balls for it, and I've shot store-bought balls from it. I've shot it with real black powder, which is actually my favorite. I've shot it with Pyrex pellets and loose Pyrex. I tried shooting it with Alliant Black MZ, and that Black MZ stuff, I know it's cheap, but it doesn't really work good. I can't recommend that to anybody. But this gun, anywho, this one dates to 1973 with this serial number, 12,802. It's just this gun just really kind of has that older Ruger, just solid quality about it, you know. Rugers from the 1970s, I mean, they're just all around solid guns. You know what you're getting, you know what I'm saying? They don't disappoint. And I love this gun, and I would get more if I can find them and I can afford them. I mean, they were $800 before the pandemic. I'm scared to even know what they are now. This bad boy here, and this is one of the treasured guns in my collection. This is a 1956 flat top 44 Magnum Blackhawk, not Super Blackhawk, and it is an unmolested 3-screw. The loading gate here is starting to purple out. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. It's getting some purple, getting some wear in the bluing down here, but overall this is really a low mile gun. There's hardly a drag mark around the cylinder. It has a serial number of 1218, which is low. And this gun, like all the old unmolested guns, you open the loading gate and you put it on half cock in order to turn the cylinder. And also the cylinder is recessed. So when it's closed, there's no gap there that you can see the cartridge through. This isn't like the new guns, but even with the gate closed, if it's on half cock, it'll rotate. This gun also has a really nice trigger on it. It doesn't take hardly. It's a nice light trigger, maybe a couple pounds, 2.5 pounds, something like that. With full power loads, this thing is with this small grip frame. It's actually kind of a handful with full house 44 mag loads, but it'll eat them all day long. This is a tough gun, and it got the name flat top because you can see right here, the top is flat. Unlike the later or the Super Blackhawks, these are just no Super Blackhawk is a flat top. They've all got this big ridge right here. Elmer Keith talked Ruger into putting this big ridge around the rear sight on the single actions. These were the guns Elmer wanted to modify, which eventually turned into this. Turned into the Super Blackhawk, right? So that gun is treasured. I shoot it infrequently. I do shoot it, but it stays in a basically a protected environment. This is the most valuable gun of all the guns that are up here, actually, and I treat it that way. This guy right here that I'm beating up my stuff with, this is what's called a Liberty model. This is a Super Blackhawk. It's a new model. So you can see there's 2 pins here where there used to be 3 screws. This is the name 3 screw. When you hear that word 3 screw, what they're talking about are these 3 screws going through the frame, which holds all the internals together. On the new models, it's just 2, and it has a transfer bar, which I'm guessing you can see right there. The old models do not have a transfer bar. It's just a frame mounted firing pin, and when this thing hits the pin, it goes off. So you cannot carry 6 loaded rounds in this revolver. You can carry 6 loaded rounds in this revolver. The differences are that this thing, as soon as you open the loading gate, you can spin it. And then it locks up, of course, when you close. And this gun has a gap. Since it was made in 1976, they started putting this gap in here. So, and you only have, on the new models, 1 click, 2 clicks, right? And you're cocked. On the old models, 1, 2, 3. Actually 4. There's a faint one in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. These old 4 clickers. That's just a magic sound to my ears. The new ones, they sound kind of a little mushier, but at least the last click is nice and defined. The Liberty model is named that because this was made in 1976, and on every Liberty model, Super Blackhawk, right here on the barrel, it says, made in the 200th year of American liberty. And this is something that only occurs on, right there, only occurs on the 1976 guns. It's not on any other gun. So that gun is special to me. I've had that gun for years. It's a good shooter, and I love it. This one here I got basically, I think I got it because I actually like the 76 model so much. This one is a 1973. And you can see that this gun, back in 73, they were still doing the old Ruger high polish finish. Ruger didn't always make matte finish guns. Some of the guns were finished to a very high polish, and this is one of them. Now this is still a new model. It's a 2-pin gun, and it's a 2 clicker, right? But you can open the cylinder, and this gun still has, in 1973, they were still making them with recessed chambers. This gun, the 76 gun, does not have recessed chambers anymore. The case head just floats on the face of the cylinder. But in 73, that was one of the things that was still kind of, they were still kind of trying to hold on to some aspects of the old model, I think. And now, I've always wanted, that's where I got my project gun. That's what we're leading up to here. I've always wanted an unmolested 3-screw Super Blackhawk. And I looked and looked and looked, and they're on Gunbroker, and I was looking for a couple years, and they were always just more money than I wanted to spend. And then finally I came across this one right here. Actually not on Gunbroker. I found this just at my local gun store. They handle a lot of used firearms. There's a lot of old timers in town that are dying off, and you know, when the old guy dies, the family just brings their guns in and dumps them for and Lee pays a fair price. I gotta say that. There's a lot of worse places you could take to dump guns than on Lee. At Fall City Firearms, they're awesome. Anywho, this gun is a 1960 Super Blackhawk. The first year of production on Super Blackhawks was 1959. This serial number is 3157, which dates it to the second year of production. And it is an unmolested 3-screw. By that I mean it has not been converted to that transfer bar. The loading gate's plumbed out, which seems to be common. And you open the gate, you got to put her on half cocked. turn that cylinder, and it's got recessed chambers. And this thing is in spite of all the wear that's on this gun, which is the reason I bought it, and I actually got it for a very cheap price because of the wear. I bought this thing for less than $500, with the idea that I know where to send this to have it totally refinished like new. And that person that's going to get this gun, his name is Al Springer, and he runs this business called Snowy Mountain Blue way back in Montana. And he's an old man, and he's a genius with firearm finishing. And I want this gun restored to basically brand new condition. And Al can do that for me. This was a gun that had the high polish finish on there, and that's an indicator of how much wear is on this thing. Because when you look at this, it doesn't really look much like that 73 model. I'm trying to turn them in the light, but they both had the same finish at one time. And this boy needs some help. So what we got here is an old dog, and we're going to give him a good haircut and a grooming and some vitamins and stuff and put him back in action. So let's take this bad boy out to the range real quick and put some rounds through it and see what y'all think. See if you like it the way it is, or see if you want to get her refinished. And maybe with a custom set of grips too. Who knows? Who knows? We're just going to take it out and have some fun. Because that's what it is. It's a gun. It's made for having fun with. Alright, we're out here at the range. We've got our 1960 Super Blackhawk. And I've got some light loads. I got some Trail Boss loads right here. And I've got some Elmer loads right here. So we've got kind of the both ends of the spectrum here to try out in this old bad boy. So let's load some of these guys up. There's 6, and I'm doing this because I am not going to put this hammer back down to rest. I'm just going to turn and start shooting. I would never load 6 in this thing if I was carrying it anywhere. Now try some of these Elmer loads. Both of these bullets use the same, both of these loads use the same bullet, by the way, too, which would be a Keith bullet. Amazing how when you have a Keith bullet, you really don't need much else. And this load right here was, here's a little close up what they look like. This is Elmer's load of 20 grains of 2400 with a 250 grain Keith bullet and a nice tight roll crimp on it. It's a good shooter. The recoil is a little snappy in that gun. It does tend to beat you on your finger, but that's the load that started it all right there. The Full House 44 Magnum load. Right, shoot a few more of these little mouse fart loads. Let's run some of these Elmer loads. Couple more mouse farts. Fletched. Well, like you can see, it's a pretty fun gun, and I think I've made up my mind. This gun, this is too good to just let this thing sit looking all dilapidated like this. We're gonna send this bad boy off. We're gonna get her redone, polished up, looking brand new. Might even get a pair of nice bone grips on here too. I don't know, we'll see. Catch us next time on Recoil Therapy. We'll have an update on this and everything else we got going too. Thanks, guys. 3. Ooh, that's smelly.